Stand! Right! So down! Out! Right! Lord, salute! Stand! Out! So
Ceremony, Privy Council, International Security, representatives from East Paradise, West Paradise, Solomon Islands, heads of Trans governments, Papala Universal Government, becoming national government, Honorable William Susia, Autonomous Bogan Government, Ministers of the Crown, Governor of Central Bank, Governor of IBOM, Governor of Community Bank, Bankers of the Crown, of the Governor of North Bougainville. You have representatives, commanders, and soldiers of the Crown, and Captain Nobin, Papala Universal Workforce, Kamapahu Traditional Government, chiefs, elders, and leaders, ladies and gentlemen. I greet and welcome you all to the 33rd Independence Anniversary of our holy Mekamoy Island. Exactly 33 years ago, this day, 17th of May 1990, King Francis Honor and our fighters declared independence for Bougainville. Those under the autonomous Bougainville government celebrated the event yesterday on Wednesday, and those under the sovereign Mekamoy or Twin Kingdom are celebrating the day today on 17th turquoise. The world is wondering why half of the population celebrated the day yesterday on Wednesday and the other half is celebrated today on Thursday or Sky Day. As you all know, it's all to do with the changes on our calendar. One half of the population is still caught up under the old Roman Gregorian calendar, while the other half has created its own sovereign, homegrown universal calendar. Importance of the calendar. Every civilization has its own sovereign calendar. The Chinese have their own, the Egyptians have their own, the Median Persians had their own, the Greeks had their own, the Romans had their own, which was upgraded as Gregorian calendar in 1582. Today, the whole world dances to the tune of the Gregorian calendar. In other words, calendar is a very important concept for controlling the masses. It regulates and harmonizes people's lifestyles, activities, and programs. That's why we are witnessing today how the two governments and systems of Bougainville are regulated. Those who are still under the foreign control are regulated by the Roman Gregorian calendar. And those of us who are already free, independent, and sovereign under Mekamoy are observing the day on a different day altogether. Before colonization, our ancestors had their own sovereign calendar that regulated their lifestyle and programs. In other words, in a like manner, we regulate our lifestyle and programs according to our own sovereign universal calendar. That's the beauty of having our own sovereign calendar. It distinguishes, confirms, and proves our freedom, independence, sovereignty, and civilization. We all know that in the process of our universal payout, those under the old Roman Gregorian calendar will surely join and celebrate with us. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Process of independence in Bougainville. You all know that our fight, struggle for freedom, independence, and sovereignty started with our forefathers. I won't go through all the details because you all know our history, but just for the information of our international friends, let me just run through it quickly. First event. We all know that our first Declaration of Independence was made 48 years ago on the 1st of September 1975, 2 weeks before Papua New Guinea got her independence from Australia. In other words, our independence is older than that of Papua New Guinea. However, immediately after declaring our political independence, our leaders decided to take us back under Papua New Guinea due to the fear of the unknown. We feared that the PNG army or other foreign forces might seize the opportunity and make war with us. And since we did not have any army of our own to defend our young country and program, and people, our leaders, decided to negotiate with PNG for a compromise solution called provincial government system. The occasion was led by very highly educated Bougainvilleans in the likes of Dr. Alexis Sare, Diohanet, Paul Lapun, John Momes, etc. The concept of provincial governance or greater devolution of powers was propagated by its founder, Father John Momes, as the best form of governance for Bougainville. Therefore, the issue of independence was permanently abandoned, never again to become an issue for discussion amongst our educated elites. Anyone mentioning this issue was regarded foolish or stupid. Second event, in 1989, the world realized yet another uprising out of nowhere. It broke out of the world's largest open-cut mine in Panguna. The issue started from landowners and exploded into international proportions within a matter of months. PNG military was deployed on our islands to protect the interests of foreign governments, and we lost about 20,000 lives in the course of defending our environment, island, and people. However, despite the great loss of civilian lives, we still defeated the PNG army. In May 1990, the PNG government temporarily withdrew her troops and services from our shores. 2 weeks later, we took the golden opportunity upon ourselves and made another official declaration of independence for our island nation. We no longer feared the foreign PNG army as before. We now had full confidence in ourselves to make such a declaration and defend it to the fullest. This is referred to as military independence declaration to distinguish it from the political independence declaration of 1975, which North Romans then received as the name of Mekamui, meaning Holy Land. Unlike 1975, our military independence of 1990 has survived despite all odds. The declaration has gone through very hard testing, but has survived due to the deep conviction and commitment of a few. We give credit to our late King Francis Honor for his ingenuity in masterminding the second event so successfully, including his army commanders. It will take many pages to mention other great men in both government and military who have worked tirelessly to keep the fire burning until now. Without them, we would not be enjoying the freedom we have today. Several years after declaring our military independence, Bougainvilleans were forced to return straight back to foreign control under PNG one more time. The people needed basic government services, such as health services, education, and white goods. Since we did not have any money to provide such services, our leaders had no choice but to lead our people back to PNG. It was a tough decision to make after having made two official independence declarations already. Joseph Cowboy broke out of our late king and led the way back to foreign control. Only a few handful of people remained with our late king until the third event came. The third event is referred to as economic or financial independence. To begin the process, we had to formally sign mutual agreements with both our leaders, Joseph Cowboy on 17 November 1997 and Francis Honor on 19 December 1997. The late King Francis saw me in a dream several months earlier and was waiting for me until I arrived in Guava. He told his core supporters that at the time that God would send somebody, a young man, who would help them reach the apex of the mountain despite the betrayal by Joseph Cowboy and other educated elites. The process of testing by late King Francis was very tough and painful. He had to test and prove me over 3 months in the jungles of Keita to confirm that I was truly the man he had been waiting for. Some of the chiefs from Keita whom he used for my testing have already died, and others are very old now. After 3 months in the jungles, the late king confirmed that I was truly the man he had seen in the dream. Thus, we formalized an agreement in custom, paying a share money or bibis called Mape in Siwa language on 19 December 1997. The late king then told me, "Brother, suppose you like work one time me, na halvim or people belonging me, you not can give him money or loan Papua New Guinea or BCL or Australia or World Bank, IMF or United Nations, you must use him money belong you yet. For those English speakers, this is what he said. My brother, if you really want to help me and our people, you must not get any funding or loan from BCL, Bougainville Copper, PNG government, Australian government, World Bank, IMF, United Nations, China, or whosoever. You must use your own money. Create your own money. It's the only way for you to help me. There's no other way. So a few months later, on 26th, 1998, I officially registered and dedicated the US track system to the Lord our God, our Creator. Then on July 8, 1998, I launched the mighty US track system publicly. I then came over and presented my first fruit offering to the late King Francis Honor at Pakia, where he was having a meeting with the UN people. From then on, everyone knew that US track and Mekamui were one and the same. The rest is history. Thereafter, I declared economic and financial independence for Bougainville on 21st April 2000 at Sichuan Kai Stadium, Port Moresby, PNG. The main difference between the first two independence declarations and this one was in the location of venue. The first two declarations were made on our home ground of Bougainville Mekamui, whilst the third declaration I made was overseas, right under the nose of the PNG House of Parliament. There were colorful bamboo bands, bamboo flutes, or singing cows all over the city as Bougainvilleans were cheering up that day. The event was attended by thousands of US clients all over the world who came as far as Europe. Just like the first two independence declarations, the third event was also brushed aside by the world governments as a mere UDI, unrecognized by any of them. However, regardless of their stand, it was still an official declaration of Bougainville's economic or financial independence that would become a physical reality later, which is now. You all know how the world governments, banks, and systems have opposed us hereto. They did not want Bougainville to realize their sovereignty. They wanted to continue using us, raping our natural and mineral resources and controlling us whenever the global control system goes. Fourth event or fourth UDI or UDS. The fourth event or fourth UDI took place on 16th August 2008, exactly 8 years later after the third UDI. The people of Bougainville Mekamui converged here on Tonu Siwai and proclaimed it into existence. We officially proclaimed it into existence two great concepts of independence, namely sovereign nation and sovereign system. The two concepts are not mutually exclusive. They run together simultaneously as hardware and software to bring about true freedom, independence, and sovereignty for Bougainville Mekamui. You cannot separate the hardware from the software and expect Bougainvilleans to enjoy the fruits of their long struggle for freedom. Without hardware, the software cannot work. Likewise, without software, the hardware cannot function as expected. You all know the signs and wonders that happened on the day following my declaration of sovereignty. While our Upa people were raising the flags, we saw an invisible hand drawing the map of Bougainville Island in the clouds just above Tonu. It was a confirmation that the God of Bougainville up here, was pleased with our declaration. Even the international visitors who were here with us on that day just could not believe their eyes, seeing the map of Bougainville Mekamui Island so clearly and vividly displayed above in the sky. It's a day we cannot forget. The four stages of declarations I mentioned above have forced us into establishing our own 100% sovereign universal system. All other revolutions that you may think of come under our sovereign system. Under the sovereign system come every other little revolutions you may think of. For instance, there's cultural revolution, spiritual revolution, monetary revolution, banking revolution, currency revolution, financial revolution, economic revolution, trade commerce revolution, education training revolution, religious doctrinal revolution, calendar regulatory revolution, political revolution, governmental revolution, military security revolution, and so on. In other words, our long fight or struggle for freedom, independence, and sovereignty and civilization has now come to the desired end. We are now crossing over the finishing line into the promised land of milk and honey. The three reasons for surrender. In closing, let me quickly remind us that the three main reasons why Bougainville often surrendered back to Papua New Guinea after every UDI were: 1. First, fear of the PNG Army; 2. Lack of finance; and 3. Lack of international recognition. The first one, fear of the PNGDF, was the reason why the first UDI in 1975 could not succeed. For example, my own people here in Tonu formed an association called Tomararu in fear of the PNG Army and did not want to support the independence movement of the time. As a primary school student, I often heard our Lapuns talking about how the PNG Army might come and slaughter us if we support the independence movement. It was a reasonable fear from our Lapuns because, as you all know, our second independence declaration did actually see the PNG Army come and slaughter our people. So I don't blame our Tonu CY Lapuns of that time because what they did, or for what they did in fear of the unknown. However, the good news is that despite the fact that the PNG Army came and slaughtered our people, we still managed to survive to this day because we managed to match and equalize them with the BRA, etc. That chapter still has gone, and there won't be any more such foreign intrusion or slaughtering from PNGF, etc. A lack of finance was the second reason why half of Bougainvilleans surrendered back to PNG after the second UDI. After the 10-year crisis, they needed basic government services like medicine, healthcare, education, etc., which our interim government could not provide without finance. That's why the BTG and now ABG were formed. However, the good news is that we've now gone beyond that stage as well. The mighty US tract and its governments, nations, banks, currencies, foreign exchanges, etc. has made the issue of lack of finance totally irrelevant. If PNG removes its services for Bougainville tomorrow morning, like it did during the crisis, Bougainville will still arise stronger and stronger. The system will finance everything and much better than how PNG and ABG do it. In fact, we are ready now, as you will hear shortly in my conclusions. The third reason why Bougainvilleans often surrendered back to PNG after every UDI was lack of recognition by another country. This issue has also been dealt with well and squarely. Underground, we now have many affiliated governments and countries working with us in areas of international trade, commerce, foreign affairs, etc. Even Solomon Islands, as our first-ranked affiliated nations government, is already working with us, though slowly and quietly until I give the green light. Therefore, be rest assured that all the three reasons that Bougainvilleans lacked or feared above are no longer relevant. We've gone beyond all of them to become 100% sovereign, and the world now truly recognizes Bougainville Mekamui as 100% sovereign. It's a great achievement. Firstborn with lastborn. I give credit to my forerunner, late King French Honor, firstborn of our revolution. As firstborn of the family, he was so closely knitted to me as his lastborn. I said many times before, where he would always tell me, as firstborn in my family, my job is to clear the way for you. Then as lastborn in your family, your task is to finish what I have started. Everyone will come in between us. If they try to go beyond me, I will kick them into line. And if they go beyond you, you will kick them into line as well. No one will bypass the firstborn and the lastborn, unquote. Therefore, in terms of Bougainville Mekamui, it's all over now. Our firstborn started the revolution, and his lastborn is here now completing it. No one else will come to do it for you from outside the firstborn and the lastborn. It's the same on the global stage. The firstborn came to earth 2,000 years ago to establish the kingdom of heaven here on earth. The lastborn is here now establishing the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Everyone must come in between. If they try to go beyond or outside the firstborn, he will kick them into line. And if they try to go outside from the lastborn would also kick them into line. Someone recently asked me on the internet, "Are you truly the lastborn?" I told him, "Come to Tonu and talk to my family and clan. According to our family tree, I am the lastborn of 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 the lastborn since time immemorial." He got the answer and apologized. Closing soon. I will be closing my speech very soon with some very exciting updates. Before I do so, let me remind us of the importance of working together as a family. The 4 declarations of freedom, independence, and sovereignty for our island nation has brought us to a very powerful and prominent stage on the planet. I'm so glad and humbled to tell you today that the world out there now sees Bougainville Mekamu as a truly sovereign nation. The fact that we've gone through and survived 4 powerful declarations has made us more stronger and powerful. Our sovereignty did not come from Papua New Guinea, nor from Australia, America, Europe, Asia, China, or from the so-called United Nations. No, our UN did not recognize all our 4 declarations, but we are not under the UN, so we don't care about it anymore because we are 100% free, independent, and sovereign over and above the United Nations. Our sovereignty comes from the invisible God, Yahweh, Jehovah, Kuponawe Kutantanu. Keep saying that in your various languages. The important thing to know is that we have now fully matched, equalized, and replaced the UN system with our own rank system, Royal Assembly of Nations Kingdoms. Summary. I have to summarize my short speech now as time has already caught up with me. The universal payout has already started. We practically launched it on the 2nd of Turkish this month, or 3rd of May in the old Gregorian calendar. There are many types of levels of payout, including individual payout, clan payout, economic payout, infrastructural payout, war damages payout, reconciliation payout, government payout, rank nations payout, IMF debt repayment payout, and so on. The payout we are conducting at the moment is called economic payout. Economic payout is designed to finance and establish our own sovereign global economy, both internally and externally. For 19 years, since the launching of US Track at Tonu headquarters, we left the economy of the island in the hands of the ABG and PNG and the foreign masters, World Bank, IMF, UN, etc. We did this purposely to concentrate our focus on matching, equalizing, and replacing the foreign control system hovering over our island. That is the monetary system, banking system, currency system, financial system, trade and commerce system. This we have already completed with flying colors. The original reason why we left the local economy in the hands of ABG, PNG was because apart from the Twin Kingdom Agreement in 2004, I also organized signed a Triumph Government Agreement with ABG in 2006. The intention was that after completing of everything on the international, I would then bring all 3 factions, ABG, Mekamu, and Papara, together under the Triumph Government Agreement and run together as one government similar to UK's bicameral system, where ABG would be the lower house, House of Representatives, Mekamu would be the upper house, House of Lords, elders, chiefs, and Papara would be the royal house. Based on the above, I envisioned that our ABG government when it comes under the system, the economy of Bougainville would automatically prop up or be backed up. We back up the monetary system. However, when I completed the system, I realized that the current ABG president was or is not willing to work with me. He also stated it very clearly in the media, OC media, New Zealand media, and Bougainville media, that he will never ever work with me. That's why the local economy of the island that I originally thought would back up the monetary system has not happened as expected. All 100 millions of worth of cocoa, copra, vanilla, business houses, stores, shops, etc. are only backing up the foreign BSP, Central Bank of PNG, IMF monetary system via ABG and PNG. Therefore, I had no option but to just finance and establish our own 100% sovereign economy. And you know how we kicked off our economic payout on 2nd Turkish this month. It's 2 weeks now, and it's still going from strength to strength. After this speech today, we will be moving to the next level. Locals interested in market shares receive up startup capital 100 to 500 kina. Only those interested in trade stores, shops, projects like piggery, poultry, fishing, etc. will be given 1,000 to 10,000 startup capital, and those interested in cocoa, copper, etc. will be given whatever amount that fits them. And I'm happy to see everyone submitting their project proposals under the Papara Mekamu Aid program. From the reports I get daily from the banks and government, I'm happy to see that the system is working. Our banks are working. Every single day, 6 days a week, for the last 2 weeks, I get reports that people are using our sovereign banks, IBOM and Combank, normally for their daily and banking transactions. They can withdraw funds, deposit funds, and do other banking transactions as they do with BSP, Kina Bank, Westpac, etc. In other words, IBOM and Combank are no longer just investment banks as they used to be. They are now commercial banks like BSP, ANZ, Kina Bank, Westpac, etc., servicing the business or commercial needs of our people. This is exactly what I wanted to see. I always wanted to see the public using our banks normally, because it's the only way to release our funds. When our banks are working normally, it's so easy to do everything we always wanted to do. Again, the most important achievement we made so far is that the fact that our banks are now working. In the past, I used to say the system is ready, our banks are ready, currencies are ready, our forex are ready, and everything was ready. But today, I'm happy to say that our system is not only ready, but it's already working. Our banks are working. Our economic payout is working fine and putting smiles on some more people. And this is just the beginning. Of course, 2 weeks may not be too long to convince or get attention of the public at large. Like anything else, it will take time for the public to put their trust in it. The more business we transact with IBOM and Combank, the more you will grow to trust and bank on it. You know that if you deposit funds today, you can still withdraw or tomorrow or whenever. The money will remain in your account until such time you decide to withdraw it. That's exactly how BSP and other foreign banks came to be. People only use them because they know that their monies are safe and sound. And they can withdraw their monies whenever they need it. And I'm happy to keep financing you under the economic payout program if you keep using our sovereign banks for your transactions. For it's the only way to make our sovereign banks work and help us in our journey to full realization of our freedom, independence, sovereignty as a nation and people. The 2 weeks of breakthrough has already accomplished some remarkable exploits in the mindsets of some people around the world. Some have called me saying that now that your banking system is working, would you allow me to deposit funds? Some already convinced and now depositing big funds in foreign currency, PSG, Kenya. Several high worth investors have called me, asked me if I can let them park several $100 million in IBOM. I told them, well, if the 2 weeks have convinced you, just go ahead. The bank is here for anyone. Whatever you deposit will remain untouched in your account until the day you withdraw or transfer it. He responded saying, I have followed your system for more than 20 years now, and I know how much effort you have put into it, despite all the critics, negative media reports, court cases, search warrants, police raids in the early days. That's why I fully trust what you are doing. The 2 weeks of deposit, withdrawal, transfer is enough to convince me. My response was again, well, thank you for your decision. You can trust the system just as you trust the other IMF-controlled banks like ANZ, BSP, etc. I've set up a solid system which everyone can trust and use for many generations to come. For the next 1,000 to 2,000 years, the system will still be here for the new world to use as their own. Another prominent Bougainvillean just called me to say that he wanted to deposit $500,000. His funds will be in the account this afternoon. I'm just saying this because this is what everyone has been waiting for all this time. All they needed was to know that the system was or is working. Therefore, because it's now working, we can now do anything and everything we want to do. We can now convert funds internally and externally. We can also convert funds locally and internationally. Nothing is impossible now. The only thing that we needed was to see our banks working normally, and it's the answer or solution for now. All the good things regarding our payouts and everything else will follow now because the system is actually working now. That's the message for today, and that is the system is working. Our banks are working. Everything is working. Hooray, it's working. International clients, I would therefore like to assure everyone that all the funds you have in your IBAN or Combank accounts are real and will be paid. If you have hundreds of millions or billions in your account, consider yourself fortunate. I know that some international clients had trillions of BVK in their accounts before we shut down the IBAN website in 2014. Some have questions as to whether or not their trillions will be honored or not. My assurance to all our international clients is that all the funds you had in your IBAN accounts before the shutdown in 2014 will be honored. I also assure you, those who took part recently in our 10x investment program for carry homes, that all your agreements and most will be honored. Under the present economic payout program, if you have trillions of BVK in your IBAN accounts, we will use it as a collateral or security to send you funds in your own currency, USD or Euro. We will send you any amount of funds according to your needs based on the big convertible collateral in your IBAN accounts. I'm sorry for the delays, but I have good news for you today, and that is the system is working. In the past, I tried to send funds to you, but since the system was not working, I could not really transfer funds internationally. But as of today, be rest assured that since the system is now working, I will be able to transfer your funds from country to country directly into your chosen banks and countries. Now, conclusion. With that, I would like to close my speech now. Thank you, everyone who has stood with me from day one to the very end, where we are now able to cross over the finishing line into the promised land. Without your undivided support, I would not have done what I have done. Without your support and backup, Bougainville Mekamo would still remain a province of PNG, Australia, World Bank, IMF, or UN. Your trust and support was all I needed to make you 100% sovereign. Likewise, without your trust, faith, and support, I would not have graduated you as multi-millionaires, billionaires, or trillionaires. Everything works together. For now, I'm happy to use your multi-millions, billions, or trillions as collateral or security to give you funds under the economic payout program. And under the other special programs like infrastructure payout, war damages payout, government payouts, RAM payouts, or IMF debt repayment payout, etc., we will also use your vouching IBAN accounts as collateral or security to give you anything you want according to your desire. Under the individual client payout program, you can use your BVK directly. In other words, there's no limit as to what you can apply for if you have big funds in BVK. Gone are the days when critics or mockers called you names. Even recently, I heard some people mocking our multi-millionaire graduates on Facebook. Well, your turn has come to mock their wisdom if you want to. But please, be good to everyone. Don't think about their mockeries. Just ignore their mockeries and bless them all. That's my final word for today. Thank you.